We're back. Um, yeah, you can eliminate all those guys down on the bottom and get it behind everyone down here. So it's a very effective way of um, just clearing out a whole portion of the map and then getting behind their guys and turning their turrets so your guys can push forward. But you have to do it quickly. Um, in terms of being in the 50B, you don't really have armor, so you can't rely on it. You have a bit of mobility, but you're big. So you don't want to get hit. So you don't want to frontline it. You want to really leverage your team's spotting and then assist them, right? So positions you're probably going to look at if you want to play this Norse here is play on the back side of these houses here so that you can shoot down at them who are attacking your team. Or if you have a lot of heavy tanks that pile up in the north here, try and just be behind them, and then when the other enemy team fires, coming out and putting a few in. If you go through the middle here, same thing. If you go in the south, same thing. So really, what my goal would be, being in a 50B in this case, would be um, looking for where my top tier and heavier tanks go and supporting them. That would be my goal. If you look at the other team, they're a little bit heavier, right? No, you do have the E100. They have an E5. They have a T95 and a 1A3. You don't have any of those big tier heavies, or sorry, TDs. Um, in it, you both have a mix of 8s and 9s that are uh, heavy, but you have a bit more mediums at the tier 9. You also have the advantage in, what is that? Uh, 4 extra tier 9s. So I guess we'll just see how it sort of plays out. I'm doing a good, tank. Appreciate it.
Let's get this show on the road.
So we'll see what FC heads off to. So it looks like the bulk of your heavies are going down kind of to where you are right now, which is good for you. I mean, one of the other things too we didn't talk about was that there isn't any artillery, so that's good. It allows you to, not have to think about that different element of threat. Your heavies are being a little bit useless though right now. They've clumped up. They haven't really distributed, and they're kind of looking for what they need to do. If you can track them, nice track. Can you track them again? No, that's too bad. Yeah, that one's gonna bounce every time when it shoots the low hole like that. Let me just. So I mean here, well, I think because the E5 is going back, what you probably want to do is actually back up and assist your M13 clearing this flank on this side. Because you only have 2 in your clip, if you extend, yeah, you might get some damage in, but then you have a 30 seconds of whatever, and like even so, I mean, if we just look at it right now, um, you've extended and now you're the frontline tank in a tank that really can't be frontline, and you've also made it where people who your team's engaging over here, and actually if you had gone up with that 103, waited for the IS-3 to fire, you can put 800 damage into that IS-3 right away, and then your guys will probably have the confidence to then push that and clear that. And if you clear that, that means that you have a flank around this way of your guys so that you can now go work on the E5. Putting yourself in the position you are right now, not only do you only have 2 shells, so you can't kill this E5, right? I mean, the reason why you would want to pressure an E5 like this is if you had enough to kill him, and then you would take a hit from him and kill him. But because you don't have that, you're stuck now, right? You can't really move back because of the E1 here, and the E5 is going to poke around and shoot you. You can't push the E5 because you don't have enough to kill him, and you can't help these guys now because you're too far in advance. So By taking that frontline position and not actually, clearing the flanks beside you and supporting your team, you're trying to be the frontline tank when that's really not what your tank's good for. So we'll just keep rolling it and see what happens. See if you. Yeah, so you know the E1 has a small gun, so you're gonna take a little bit more damage coming out of here. See, because I mean, basically what happened there is you traded 400 hit points on the E5. So you pushed up and traded 400 hit points on the E5 to lose half your health in your repair kit. Where you could have actually applied, well, that IS-3 would be dead by now. So if you can get on that E1, because he actually wouldn't have had time to reload, and he has a small gun, so he shouldn't have a full clip. You want to help that WZ so he doesn't get killed. Okay, so you get the E5. You have 2. Looks like you're going to go around this way to get on the backside of these guys. I mean, I would have almost just gone around the corner that way, because now this is taking too much time to get around here, and your team's already bundled up on this side, and you guys would have just overmatched it anyways, but you need to go around and kill those guys, because you can kill those too really quickly. Oh, it's too bad.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
So if we stop it and just look at the map again, right? Your team is still bundled up here. You're half health. There's a bunch of tanks up here. There's some tanks down here. And it's kind of like, okay, what do you do? In this case, you don't want to be that front line again. So you know how you took that position up here, that forward position? You don't want to do that again. What you want to do is you want to let your team disperse, follow them, and then when that E100 turns the corner and gets hit by, a 30 or whatever, you want to follow it up by doing 1600 damage or whatever. Or, if these guys poke through, or if your team goes out this way and starts engaging them, then you want to follow them and do that damage. So it's really, you're looking for opportunities to assassinate people off of your team, either taking damage, blocking damage, doing whatever. So you don't want to be the one initiating. It doesn't look like your E100 is going to push up too much. So you're going to want to, like, you can still go backwards, right? Like you can get out of here and help these people on the different flanks, because now your team's just sitting here just doing nothing. Doing something they're done. And thanks for the follow, mostly. I appreciate it, man. So your whole team basically went in this one place and slowly went up one by one and they're dying. So yeah, do you see what you're doing again though? Is, how we talked about, you want to follow your team wherever they go so that you can support them, right? But what you've done is you've moved away from your team, knowing that the enemy team's coming. And I can get the thing to say, okay, well, I need to be the one to stop them. But what's going to happen is you're going to get a few shots in, but you're just going to die to that. And you're not going to have any support from your team, and so you're being the front line again in a tank that can't be the front line. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but really, this is where you wanted to be, is supporting these guys. I think he broke his turret. That's lucky. Oh, that's too bad. So it's good you got to get those 4 shots off without taking any damage. And you've gone to a little bit of a crap hole, so hopefully you're going to be able to do some damage on those guys. If you can get the kill on the Leo, and then oh, well, that's not fun. So just a couple things on that engagement right there. Let me see who is actually hitting you. Did that? So it must have been the U1 that hit you as well. Um, when you saw the 140 fire, you know that you have about 5 seconds before he's going to fire again. And chances are, if you're trying to get your entire clip off, he's going to shoot and be able to hit you anyways. So it actually isn't when you go back and forth like that after every fire. In this case, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you. For one, it makes you so you have to aim again and again, so it slows down your ability to actually fire. But had you, instead of the angle that you're at right now, I don't know if it's possible in that area, but if you were a little bit more um, angled, I guess, this way, so, because you have a little bit of space to kind of straighten out, um, you don't even have to really move. You know what I mean? Like when you fire, you can just keep firing because you know you're going to take that second hit from the 140 if you want to get your entire clip out. And you can just keep riding it. Like the whole point of an autoloader is I'm going to take a hit so I can actually kill you, or I'm going to take a hit so I can do 1600 damage or whatever. So um, by going back and forth, it makes your shots more unreliable, and you may not hit in the right spot, or you may not get the track, or you may not whatever. So um, yeah, looks like your team's kind of go on the bad chat. No, no, I want to be on the bad chat. That's too bad. Um, yeah, so I think if we look back about what happened in that game, definitely your team didn't do a very good service of all bundling up here. And then when you guys were there, it took a hell of a long time to push the guys in the mid here. You lost significant HP by trying to be a frontline tank in a position where you traded one shot against an E5 for half your health and your repair kit. Whereas you could have used those same two shells back here had you not pushed up and actually started pushing this side. Because the thing about being a top tier tank like that versus tier 8s is you have such an advantage over them, right? And you had a tier 9 and M103, you had yourself, and I forget what the other tank on your team was as well, but if you just had gone there, waited for the IS-3 to fire once, put two into him, M103 puts one into him, he's almost out of the game. He doesn't have a lot of hit points. And you clear that side, and you still had a ton of tanks behind you in the event that that A5 did come around and try and shoot you guys, and you still would have probably had most of your HP, if not all of it, and you still would have had your repair kit. And then after that middle was cleared, when your team is more or less surrounded, you tried to once again frontline again by positioning here. Now you did get some damage out. I'm not gonna lie, you did get quite a bit more out, but could you have done more if you went this way with the rest of your team? Could you have eliminated the 30 because that was the first thing they saw down there? And for you, creating that distance and using your team as a wall is really where this tank excels. But in two cases in this match, you use it as a frontline one. So I think it's just knowing the strengths of a tank and applying it and using it within your team composition is what would have been perhaps game changing, to say the least. But yeah, thanks for the replay there, FC. Really appreciate it. I know we got another one from you coming up. And mostly hybrid. Tank classes do you prefer? I prefer heavier tanks. That's where I started. Though my first line was the T57 line, and when I didn't know anything about the game, man, that T71, if you look at my stats in it, are pretty damn bad. I didn't do very good. What else? Yeah, so I went up to T57 first. But yeah, tanks like the E5, IS-7, U100. I tend to play the heavier tanks a bit more just because I like the abilities, the survivability, the HP, the alpha. just being able to really bully in positions. And, you know, I've been learning how to do that a bit more in mediums and whatnot. But um, I just love I just love bringing the pain and being able to just bully someone to hell with a heavy. You know, like just straight up outplay and do that. I'm not very good in tank destroyers. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm starting to learn them a bit more, but I don't gel very well with the fixed turreted. I like my playstyle is very much a lot of snap shooting, a lot of putting tanks in positions where you wouldn't think they'd be able to fire, like taking a heavy and making it roll up a hill so you can shoot just over and using your depression, like different things like that, right? So um, yeah. So the next one is from FC again, and it's T62A on Erlenberg. So just download this one real quick. Yeah, some of those high alpha TDs are pretty hilarious, to be honest. But I hate getting hit by them. Okay. So if we take a look at the map, Erlenberg, in a standard battle setup, typically your lighter, faster tanks and heavies, if they feel like going it, do the 9-0 and push up to about here. There's a little bit of a divot here where it's actually very good for a T62 where they can kind of get in this thing and just rock back and forth and shoot. You have to be a little bit careful with artillery, but because it's on the backside of a slope, it's actually pretty hard for them to hit, especially if you're mobile. And then the TDs will usually line up around here, or they'll line up on the back side of this hill here. Usually heavier tanks go over to the 1-2 here. I've actually started being very against sending many, if any, tanks over to this side. Usually I'll maybe send like a scout or something like that, but this side is so, because for one, the north side spawns on this side. And two, it's just you can't actually push here. There's so many hull down whatever positions over here that if you want to push this side, you just bleed hit points for days. So I actually don't really like going to this side of the map in anything at all anymore. I like doing a very aggressive push over here, eliminating the back side of this hill, eliminating what's here, and then doing something once we have this side of the map. I don't know. Because if you take this side of the map, if they want to go to your cap, they got to come across this field, come here, which you can shoot from them from here. If you want to approach this side, you can go through the water here and still be held down to the back of here. So you have the ability to cross over a lot easier than they do down here. So in general, I like taking this side as opposed to here. North Artie is usually anywhere along this backside here. Sometimes they'll head up here if they have a strong force that goes here, but normally they don't actually go over here that often as well. Unless, of course, I mean, if you look at their tank composition, well, actually, across the board, it's actually fairly light. I mean, if you look at it, you got two Batchas, two 140s, STP-1, two 62As. That's all mediums. If you look at theirs, Batchat, Leo, 140, SUB, 262A. But then they have game changers in these four huge TDs. So there's a good chance they're going to send some of those TDs over here with a good bit of their mediums. So this is going to be a bit of a fight over here. Probably some of the TDs are going to stay here as well. So I don't think you're going to get all of them. But, just looking at it, I'd still go up here fast and get that map control over here. So we'll see what FC does. So like I said, I mean, if you look at the spread, your heavy tanks are still going over here, with the exception of this one Batchat, who's going probably to the back of that hill. More lighter stuff's going this way. So a lot of your team is going on the back side of this hill or staying back here. if you're on this side, you need to go up here. You need to take this position here because it lets you proxy spot these guys. It lets you spot the guys on the back of this hill. It's just when you stay back here, you're not very useful to your team because you can't spot a lot. You get lit like you just did and hit from artillery. TD's back here will end up start shooting you guys up here. So your team's starting to do it, right? They're all funneling in there now, but you need to get there right away. And if you look at actually that spot that I was talking about is right here. You can take a nice hull down tank. Ethan, my man, what's going on? You can take your tank right in here, and you can actually rock back and forth in there, and shoot over at the guys on the top of this hill. You can crouch up a little bit and active spot the back side of the ridge here. It's a very strong position to go. Here, you're so open to TDs all the way back here and artillery. So I really don't like being on this side of the map. I think it leaves you way too exposed. See if you guys can get some damage in.
We didn't even scratch them.
You guys really want to eliminate, and I mean the other thing too that we see is all their mediums, or majority of them, are on this side, which is good for you guys, right? You don't know where the 62A is, but there he is. So all their mediums are over here. That means you guys can be super aggressive over here. So you guys need to be working on killing these TDs.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
It's like you're trying to track them. I mean, I would just start applying damage if you can.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Because with their mediums on the other side, they're all mediums against tier 9s. And so that other side is just going to slowly but surely lose. So you guys need to really, I mean, it's taken, those guys are in the open, man, and your team's not really able to do much to them. It looks like you're the only one with a shot angle on them.
Enemy is hit.
And see what I mean? When you guys take such an aggressive stance over here, you can really deny them this entire field really quickly. And if you can get these top tier TDs out, that'll be huge for your team. So you get a kill on him. I'd almost slang heat at the freaking turret of that E4 just to make them count.
That one didn't go through.
See, so your other side of the map is already dead. You got mediums that are already behind your base. So, not that you guys had a whole heck of a lot of tanks over here, but it just took a really long time to eliminate very few tanks that were in very open positions. And as you can see where these people died, like, there wasn't a really big purpose of going over here, you know what I mean? Like, they all died in positions that weren't even past the castle. And it's a very limiting, you know, you basically get there and then your game's done. That's it. Whereas you guys, you've already taken this entire side of the map. So, just I don't know, just a kind of heads up to people who play this map. I think from the south, your strong position is taking this map and then evaluating what you want to do. It's very much like Swamp a little bit, where you basically take, you know, the south side of the map if you start on the west, or the north side of the map if you start on the east. And it's very much the same as that. You take one side of the map, and then it's a slow, drawn out, okay, how do you do it? But you're getting some good damage on here on this guy. You know, if we just take a stop, I think, and even earlier than this, you need to recognize where their team is and where you have an overmatch and where you can eliminate quickly, right? So if you look at it, you know, their bad chats down south, their STBs down south, their Foch is down south, their E75 is up north, their IS-8. So all of their tanks, with the exception of artillery, are down south. So you need to be moving quickly and not just assuming he's going to come up from cover on you, because all he wants to do is stall you guys in the north, and all you guys are doing are stalling in the north, right? So I think even earlier than this, you needed to recognize that their tanks were all down here, and that you guys can quickly, all three of your mediums can get in there, kill this guy, kill this guy, kill artillery, all before these guys can come back. So you're staying way too far back for this whole game. Like even earlier on when you're on those TDs, you have the mobility to just run off this hill, run down here, and just get behind them. So like right now, you need to act. All three, you need to get in there and clear all this before they can get back, or at least two of you, so that one can go back and be caps reset. But I'm doing good, Ethan, man, doing good. Just reviewing the plays. So yeah, you're staying to. You're not capitalizing on your advantage right now. You knew exactly where they were. You effectively had map control by knowing where they were, and you guys didn't really do much with it. The 62 is trying to go over there and do stuff with it, but it may be too late by now. So now you're in a very much defensive mode, right? You're looking to take shots where you can. Oh, that's too bad. It's unlucky. Did you not get lit from that? Or you must just be lit entirely then. Now you're lit. Wow. Well, I guess there's a bush there. See if you can eliminate these targets. Get a good kill on him. Ah, too bad. Now you do have full health on this guy. You have to watch out for the Foch being there, but you can really press him. And I would hug going right if you can, just because of the Foch. You want to stay as far away. Yeah. That was what I was waiting for. Okay, he's right in front of you. Oh, ooh. Luck. Oh. That was too bad. I mean, you traded 1,600 hit points for 500 on the STV. I guess it would have been better just to get off the hill, whether behind that house, and shoot the STV or not, just so you can kind of eliminate where you'd be getting shot from. And like I said, you know how in the north, we talked about moving there quicker. That 62 went there, but you guys still lost. I think it was an M103 you had, and he still didn't manage to kill the artillery, and the bat chat's there now. So just moving a little too quickly on that one. Or not as quickly, I should say. You do eliminate the guys from your base, okay? Gotta watch out for Artie, I guess, because it's still two. I mean, same thing, right? So, if we look at map positioning again, do you have a shot on that guy? You do have a shot, but it looks like you might have a shot on you too. Once again, you know where their team is. Right, so you always want to use that to your advantage. Is you know where the enemy team is. You know the IS-8's here. You know the bad chat's here. You know the Foch is here. You know the artillery's probably somewhere along here. So, given the current position you have, and assuming that IS-8 doesn't kill you from behind, you want to press this guy before these guys can come back. But you want to do it in a way where you're not exposing yourself to these guys possibly for where they're at. So, I mean, right now you have a shot on him, but I just don't know. Okay, so you get lit, trying to be artillery safe, lining up the shot. No, that's too bad. Hopefully that already doesn't have a line on you.
Track fixed. Let's roll.
See, now it's kind of too late. Foch would have time to come back. Badger has enough time now to come around this way. He could be over here by now. And you probably at this point want to actually stay grouped with your 140. Or at least in a way where you can support each other. Because right now, you're out of his render range, he's out of yours. If you spot the bat chat, chances are he won't be able to do anything about it. So, late game, really want to leverage each other's HP instead of isolating yourselves. bat chat, yeah. You gotta be careful about Artie seeing you there though too. Cause you know he was shooting from somewhere in here, so you can kind of like angle straight on into here in the pike. So I'd probably get delit and try and move away. Um. Uh oh. Ooh. Good luck. Oh, do you have kill? Do you have kill? Ah. Getting some unlucky bounces off of that. There you go. Get the kill. That's good. One already. That chat's probably gonna try and make a run around. I don't know if we know his hit points, but oh. Splash, eh? We're gonna get you. So yeah, like I said, I'd probably try and back out of here now, right? Use the building to keep keep between you and the bat chat, and I would slowly back out this way. Um, like back out that, and then just regroup with your 140. Keeps you unpredictable. Oh, thank you, because what I would. Oh, so he is up this way. He's here. I think he was over this way. So given that, when that Foch though is the wild card here. I mean, if your 140 can come with you, you can use these hills a little bit. You just want to watch out for that Foch being, because he's probably the Foch. If I was a betting man, I would imagine he's probably somewhere back here. Seeing if you're going to come out in the middle of the field. He could be coming around this way. Good hit. Maybe artillery prone though, just based off of where they fired before. Yeah. Well, that was a Foch. I wonder where he was. I mean, he had to be somewhere in this vicinity, or he was back here somewhere and had a line down. Also, looks like he ended up leaving. So, I think, you know, takeaways from that is we really, at the start, you guys went up, you know, this way. When you saw that their mediums all went here, this needed to be an aggressive push. It took way too long to kill those two TDs out in the open. And whether that means you need to shoot heat at the lower plate so it's a bit more reliable, or on the side turret of the E4, but you need to put in the damage because there's a lot of bounces, there's a lot of you know, non-track hits. Artillery wasn't really helping you because they weren't firing up there, but you needed to apply that pressure a lot quicker. And even if that meant moving, right? Moving up, because you know with those mediums being over there, you have the ability to move around and get side shots and get closer and do things like that. And then when you saw that all of their team was down here, you needed to move in and eliminate a lot quicker that E75 and hopefully keep your M103 alive, and then continue on and take the Artie before the batch and all of them can come back up. So there's a lot of times where you're quite passive in staying back, both on this hill and not putting a lot of damage out, and then on this hill not putting a lot of damage out. So I just think when you see where the enemy team is, if they're that far extended and you have a tank count saying that they're all over there, then you need to capitalize on those things really quickly. Because, you know, if you don't jump on it, that batch is going to be able to come back, which he did, and then you lost the T62A, you lost the M103, and then near the end of the game, you kind of tried to push a position that really wasn't in your favor. You're going to get outspotted by a bat chat, and when you get spotted, you're in a cross lane for artillery and in this case a Foch. So, and you're overextended from your 140. So you weren't sticking together late game as well. So yeah, I think just identifying where you have overmatch, applying pressure um, quickly, but not losing your health. And then even on that engagement with the STB-1, I had said, yeah, I think you should go over and kill him, but you have to be cognizant of that Foch. I think if you had just rolled straight down the hill and used the buildings in front of you, you would have still been able to take out the STB, but you wouldn't have taken that hit from the Foch. So, but yeah, no, appreciate the two replays, man. And I'm sure we'll play some game state or something like that. But thanks. And yeah, I'm eating an apple tank. Taking a while to eat, but you know. The next one I have. Get it up. And the game plan right now is just I got 6 replays that I'm reviewing, Ethan, and yeah, just going over them and talking about ways to improve. See if where is my boost? There it is. So the next one, I don't know if this is a Euro replay actually. We'll see if it works. It's from Thyrotoxic. Oh, thanks for the follow, Azuma Kiki. Kikid Connor? Azuma Kikid Connor? Wow, that's a new one. Yeah, I appreciate the follow, man. So we'll see if this works. I don't know if it will. I don't know, because I know Seal's also a Euro clan. I just don't know if it's. I know there's an NA one as well. Okay. So we're on Live Oaks. Wow, these like non-artillery games. This has been 3 out of 4 so far. This is awesome. Just bump this up a bit. So Live Oaks. This map, when you spawn from the north, is a bit tricky. Because normally you want the heavy tanks will move along the backside of this A line to try and get through into the town. If you do that, you want to try and get as far as you possibly can. But if you're in something slower, generally you get spotted about here. And in order to make it all the way here, you have to cross all these different firing lanes, which people from this hill and artillery too will just slaughter you. So it really depends on how far in you can get. Ways to kind of mitigate that is if you're able to have some scouts go into this village and actually try and spot some of the guys on here or some of the guys crossing here. You can kind of ruin that plan a little bit, but uh, it's a very risky play for slower heavies. Even like the E5, when he gets spotted here, um, you might have trouble getting across, especially if from the south side, if they put a scout right on the corner of this building right here, they can light all you guys right in here as you're going in. So it's very much, if they put one tank here, they can kind of almost effectively deny you town, which is a huge imbalance in my opinion. Um, on the flip side, I feel like the north side has a stronger position going south because you have a bush right here that you can scout any of the guys on the backside, and it allows you to be somewhat hold down, and you can really just almost push up to like here with really no contest. Looking at the tank composition now, you guys are much lighter at the top, so where you have the advantage is probably going south in force because you have all of those lighter, faster tanks that can go with you. You do have quite a bit of heavies as well, but once again, I mean, you have IS-8s versus M103s, VKBs, and you're gonna have E75. You're gonna have a bit of trouble taking damage with them. So your team has a big benefit to defensively stay back on your base in the back railroad and push aggressively on the south because their big TDs are going to hang out here. Their big heavies are going to push in here, and it's to their advantage if you actually push into the village to help them. So Hopefully your team doesn't push into the village that much, if at all, because there's no point. You want to let them come across this crossing so you can deal damage to them when they try and cross to your base, and you want to exploit the advantage that they're not going to have a lot of tanks down to the south. I mean, they may have an E50, a Leo 1, and maybe a 1390 or Bulldog. Like that's going to be their south. You guys can crush that with your E50, FE 2, 422, Leo 1, and you and the 140. So, let's see. Am I military? No, I'm not military. So yeah, we'll just kind of run it, see where you go. Chances, I'm assuming in the 140 we're going to be going down here, and like I said, I'd take a very aggressive position and actually get up here, proxy spot stuff. There's no artillery. Let your team damage that. Work around it aggressively, and you're probably going to have quite a bit of an overmatch down here. So there may be opportunities to take a hit, but to take a tank out, and then get on the backside so you can eliminate these guys. So we'll see what happens. There's just really no point for your heavies at all to push into the city, because going against the mouse and these are the East 75, that you guys are just gonna get punished if you go in there.
Let's go.
I mean, if you look at what the FV said, he said shit side of the map, city isn't a good idea. Even Thyrotoxic saying the same thing, right? It's like, they're going to be useless if they go into the city. So it's good that the players have recognized that going to the city is a bad thing. But if you look at what's actually happening, your players are all going to the city. So they're going to get spotted along here from the 1390 and the Bulldog. You already have a lot of their tanks up here that are going to just rain down on it. Even the Leo 1 went into the city, which is just not useful at all. So getting some good early damage into the guy there, that's good. But that Bulldog is literally going to light all these guys, and then whatever's up here is just all going to shoot down on that. So So you guys have managed to make it into the city. I mean, if we just take a quick second here to look at that. They've made it into the city, but because of where the other team had made it in there before them, they're isolated to right here. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever played in this little pocket right here, but there isn't a lot of room to move, and there's so many of our tanks there that, unless they push forward and take a hit down this lane and hits from these guys, which means you're going to lose, at least half their health, or if not die. It's going to be, they're just going to be stuck there, and they're not going to be able to do too much. So, and then you see how these guys, they're all spotted from this guy, the 1390 right here. So they're not able to move forward without getting hit from these guys. So your northern forces are really trapped, and where they should be. And I know this sounds weird, is they should be back here. They should be in the base here. They should be backside, haul down along here. It denies them from the enemy team from the cap. And then more of these guys, the IS-8s, the faster ones, the Leo 1, should be down with you, so you can aggressively push down here. And you're still at the forefront here, which is good, and you're pushing it. But your team's not doing a lot to help you out. Okay, so you see your first guy. Get some damage in. Leo 1's there. You want to be a bit careful. I know you're keeping the bridge in between you and, well, to some degree. You just want to be careful about getting tagged from the side there. Especially when you rock up like that, right? When you rock up that much, if they turn around and look back, they can tag you there. And your E50M's gone in, so, if you want to preserve your hit points over here, you need to just get in there and be aggressive. Like, I'd probably take out the Leo 1, yeah. So you're getting hit from that side there. If you just get in there, they can't really hit you. I mean, even just on the backside right here, they can't hit you from back there. So you get the kill on him. I mean, you and the FE, I think, need to be in there a bit more to trade hit points and save your 50M a little bit. just because I don't know, he didn't need to take that much damage from the before. So you're taking the low path here to get a bit closer to the hill, spot it, see what you can do to it. I mean, if we do take just a quick look at the map, you guys are up in tanks, which is good because of what you just cleared down there, right? You got the Leo, you got the E4, and I think the KV4 down there. You know that these guys have started to shift a little bit more into the city. Your guys are going to die up there fairly quickly soon. They've just, because they've been isolated in the same spot, they haven't died yet. But if you look what's going to be pressuring them, they're not going to do too hot. So the sooner we can get involved, the better. But you're going to have to get through the backside of this hill first, which could be challenging. If you can hit that couple of shot. Oh, the heat through the side cheek. All right. Just punishing him. Good kill. You gotta watch out for the T30 though. Okay, so there he moved. You're good for that. But your side turret to the Foch, you gotta be careful about that. It's a good hit. And if you see what he's doing, he's slowly clearing section by section, right? I mean, he wants to make sure that this is clear, and then he wants to make sure that the next block is clear. Because I mean, theoretically he could just drive up and try and help these guys, but he wants to systematically clear grids. So that's why he's looking back on the T30. He wants to see if he can eliminate him. So T30 fired. I'm not too sure why the T30 fired, but whatever. So yeah, you see how your cities, they're just getting enveloped right now. It's just not pretty. And this is kind of where you want to make a choice. Like, how much do you put damage into these guys in the city versus how much do you want to clear this? Because right now, I mean, if you just look at the map, you guys could clear this and just cap. That's what could happen. You have enough down here. There's enough up here to stall them. They're too slow to get to your cap. They're too slow to come back. If you clear this and you apply pressure here, your team could triple cap right now and get the win. So it kind of depends on team coordination, what you can actually get them to do. But you're in position for the win right now without killing all our tanks. So we'll see what you end up doing. So T30's down. So technically, you guys could get on cap. And you could just zone all of these guys. So your Leo's already called out for it to cap. JPE 100 is just too quick. I would be applying pressure on these guys right here. You have sure shots on them, and you deny them from decapping your cap. So I think you're trying to focus a little too much up here on tanks that really right now don't matter if you want the win. Like, I know you want to try and get some of these guys out, but I think this is where you should be putting your pressure because you're on the backside of these guys. Get a kill, that's good. E5, you can get the kill on the E5. Because now, if we just look at what's happened right now, is you went from potentially being able to triple cap, right, to your guys have moved up, your FE's left to go decap over here. These guys now have enough time to come back to here, and then these guys are still full health and going to be able to apply pressure and spot from here. So, although you took the VKB out, you still just have two full health tanks right here that, let me just look at what, not full health. But I think that's where I would have focused my priority, because then, if these guys are done, all you guys have to worry about is these guys coming back. So you're doing that now, you get him. Now you can zone the Foch by proxy spotting him. If he wants to come over and take damage, that's fine. See if you can get the E5. No. Yeah. I feel like the couple is very hard to hit these days. Low plate. Ooh, I thought that was going to hit track. Track him? If you track him on top of the hill. No. I mean, it looks like you guys are in a good position to win right now, to be honest. Um, yeah, I'd focus at E50. And this is what we talk about clearing sectors. Like, this is the biggest threat right now, right? Is decapping you guys is E50. So if you can get there and kill him, fine. I don't know why you're T30 YOLO. That was a bad mistake on his part. That kind of gave away the game. How did your FV die, dude? Okay. Some side cheek, yeah. And you gotta watch out for that E50 behind you, right? Oh. Lob heat, hey? So, you just love when you're just surrounded and you're just throwing out damage. And I mean, it'd be really nice to get that E50 down, but yeah, he's a bit of a nuisance right now. You can go around, yeah, you can definitely go around the backside of this hill right here and just cause nuisance on that Foch. I'd almost do that and then run to decap. Because that's really the way you're going to lose, is through a cap at this point. So after this kill, you need to hit cap. Ah, should have gone for the commander hatch, man. It's too late. It's funny when you get capped out by a JP. Hey, that's pretty hilarious. Well, that's too bad. I mean, you did a hell of a lot of damage. I mean, that's for one. I'm just gonna pause there. You know, your team really didn't do you that much of a service. I mean, they did do one thing in that they stalled City significantly by just bundling up in one spot and not pushing and not dying too quickly. But I mean, your team said it at the start, is that there was no advantage going into the city. Like, there was multiple people who said that, and they said that, you know, oh, they're just going to go there and die. And, you know, when you look at the enemy team composition, they thrive, because they're slow, they thrive on the enemy team coming to them. They want to use their armor, they want to be close quarters, they want to freaking abuse you. Your team composition is very much, I don't want to be anywhere near you. And, you know, not that you can do a lot about it, but your team, you know, sometimes you, by actually just saying, hey, God, you know, IS8s, I really need you down south, like actually just making it seem like you're, you know, that they're a really big benefit to you, just to draw them away from where the fight is. Because had you guys had, you know, your T-34s, and you know, maybe your E5 and stuff like that, and just set up along here, and then maybe had your Bulldog in this bush here, and I don't know, maybe the T30 back here as well. And then if you took the IS8s, the Leo 1, the FV, the E50, the Cent, the T49, if you took all you guys and just rolled down here, you could have just gone over this hill and destroyed these three within seconds. And then you would have been on the back side of this. Their most would have been, you know, somewhere right here, and he'd be like, okay, I got to turn around. And you create this yin-yang effect where they don't really know where to go. But by going here, they know where 80% of your team is, and they just have to roll in and crush it. That's all that has to happen. Now, granted, you don't have a lot of control over your teammates, get that. So, but you did have an opportunity when your team was still alive. There's still 3 tanks, I think, on your team that were alive up here. And you were shooting the VKB. I think what you need to do is eliminate these 2 here, because they're the closest threat to cap. You eliminate the E75, you eliminate the Foch, then your guys down south here can actually get on cap. And you need to put emphasis on, hey, you know, you guys need to cap right now. Your Scent was already on it, but he was at the very back ridge of this one because he was, you know, at threat of being shot from these guys. And by the time that you started moving over to kill the E75, the E5 had already been on his way back down, and the rest of the team slowly started coming back, and then it was just kind of game over. I mean, the mouse had enough time to move from up here all the way back down here. You know what I mean? The other thing too is I don't know how this FV die to a JPE. And once again, you can't control your teammates, but you know, you're a hull down tank that can use a bush for cover to respawn. All you gotta do is you could even just throw Hesh or HE and just track them, and then wait another minute, track them, wait another minute, and then reposition down to say over here, track them. Like he didn't need to do that, but I digress. You can't really control your team. So I just think if you were looking for the win, when you had the opportunity to clear these two guys, I think you needed to do that, and then zone their team coming this way so you guys could cap. And then also at the start here, being a bit more aggressive on that push. When the E50 went in, I think you needed to kind of go in and for one, you wouldn't have taken the hit from the Foch from, when you went a little too high on the rail here. But two, you might have taken a little bit of damage away from the E50, so he'd have a bit more survivability. But I mean, all in all, man, you did friggin' AK damage. So what can you really say about that, right? And you got capped out by a JP 100, so shit out of luck. But I really appreciate the replay, man. So very simple. Back in town. What do we got next? Sorry, just doing this. So the next one is actually we have two victories coming up. So the first one is from TheReturned in M4 Sherman, and then the last one is the Churchill I game from Tank. So I'll just download the Returns Sherman game. And like I said, I don't typically want to do a lot of wins. Because normally it means you're doing a lot of things right. But like I said, you can learn from wins. You can see what people do good, or if there's even things that you could have done a bit better. So it's also because you guys haven't submitted too many losses, so it means you're not losing, right? Okay. All right. Pause it. Wow, another Noardi game. Wicked. Seems to be a trend. Okay. So this is Murovanka. And this map's been changed, right? In the past, there was a huge forest over here. There was some crazy ass hills back here. It was pretty unbalanced. Whatever. Now it's a bit different. So normally, heavier tanks will go down this two line. They'll kind of play the side ridge here from the north and the side ridge here from the south. You'll get some people playing in the towns over here, like lighter stuff. You have maybe TDs hiding back in the bushes down here. There isn't the same level of bushes up in the north, so that doesn't happen as much. TDs from the north will sit back here, down on this bottom side. TDs from the south will sit back down here as well. More mediums and lighter stuff will go in the backside here, and the backside here. The middle is kind of a risky game. Some people play through it, some people not. There is a ridge line here on the E line that you can kind of do things behind, but if there's artillery in the game, it's very hard to play. In this case, I mean, could be doable, but yeah. So if you think about what tank are you in? So you're pretty much bottom tier. You're a tier 5 and a tier 7. You have not a lot of hit points. I mean, if that T29 or AMX 45 hits you, that's 75 to 80% of your hit points. So you're not at a huge advantage being so low tier in this match. So you're gonna want to really leverage your team, stick around them, shoot when your teammates get shot after, stuff like that. You want to really support your team so that if lighter stuff comes around, your T29s and Black Princes and stuff like that, you want to eliminate them. But yeah, so you want to sorry, you really want to support your team. If you look at the other team taking up position, they're fairly TD heavy, so they're going to be looking for they're going to be looking for you to come to them, right? They're going to be more sitting back, whereas your team's probably going to be more proactive. You do have two T29s, which is a good compliment for you, good hold down tanks. So really, your job is to support your team, and we'll see if you're able to do that. Let's speed this up a little bit. I think you're running the derp, right? Yeah, you are. This should be interesting. So basically, he's running a gun that it's not a very high velocity gun, but if it hits and penetrates, it can do a lot of damage, specifically to like the lower stuff. And with a lot of these TDs that don't have a lot of armor, you can actually do quite a bit of damage. So. Honey Badger. So your team's dispersion is kind of interesting. I mean, your T29's back here. I mean, your Black Prince is just slow, so he can't really do a whole lot. So we'll end up seeing what happens here. So you take a hit. You know, one of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're low tier in games like this is it's not really to your benefit to be the first one seen, right? So not that you were the very first one seen. Appreciate the follow, man. Yeah, it's not really in your best interest to be the first one seen by the enemy team because, for one, you become a priority target, and two, if you're far enough up, which you're fairly far up, you're gonna get nailed. So especially in a tank like this, you kind of just want to wait it out a little bit, or at least be in a position where you can't be seen. Because now that half your hit points are down, you know, it's not. You have to play a lot more cautious, right? Oh God! Please tell me it goes through. I would love it. Uh oh. Uh oh. So now we're down to 14 health. You got T29 coming up on your backside. He does have a small gun though, so keep that in mind. He's going to be firing fast. And although most tanks would love him in a small gun, it's not very good for you. Is he firing at you and just not? I don't know what's happening right now. Is he just not able to kill you? So, I mean, it might be in your benefit to actually shoot the heat instead. Not on the side of a 45, but on the T29, you might have done a bit more damage. I love the fact that you just penetrated that guy with. Oh, that's just so dirty. I love it. I love everything about it. And at 14 health too, just absolutely wrecking that guy. Alright, so you got your team helping you out now. Your other side of the map's kind of fallen. You lost to T29 and KB85. But that's okay, because you guys are clobbering this side. M4, my word. Are we pulling off and fighting? We are going into the Civil War coming up, if you've heard about that. So that will be fun, and I imagine that's going to involve us having to leave our current land, but we'll be back on it. So the game's pretty even at this point. I mean, I don't know, in terms of hit points, you know, Black Prince is full. T29 is still camping at the back, so awesome. Great, I guess. I mean, your team's looking pretty good except for yourself in terms of health. You know, last spot at T20 or E25 over here, you want to be careful about that and that T25 too. But Let's see what you can do. See if you can smack some more bitches. Do I tune with my fanboys? I haven't yet, but I don't really think I actually have fanboys, to be quite honest. But um, I mean, I'm open to it for sure. Come on. Yes, just yes. Oh,
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
this is. Sometimes it's just nice to play one of these tanks. You can just let them fly. It's kind of hilarious, actually. Especially when it just lobs. It's like a mini KV2. So see if you can get a hit on this. Oh, thanks for the follow, Mr. Local Reborn. Appreciate it, man.
Enemy armor is hit.
Just the amount that you're wrecking at 14 health is pretty hilarious, and I love it. See if you can get on the backside of this Fury. I mean, your hope at this point is nobody just looks at you. They're just like, oh, we don't need to pay attention to him. Uh-oh.
Critical hit.
Is this the end? Is this over? Oh, there's miss. I don't know if you're in his proxy range or not. No. You're just barely outside the proxy range. And I don't think he spots you when you fire. This is just great.
Critical hit.
Oh. The lob. It would be great to see a big hit on that E25, but... Alright, can you get the kill on him? Gotta aim it, gotta leave the target. Boom!
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Carrying in an M4 with 14-inch points. So I mean, in terms of what we can learn from this game, I think early on, the mistakes was just being one of the first ones lit, and being that priority target for the enemy team. Like, they're gonna shoot at you because you're easy to go through. You're pretty much the only one lit. So I think just exposing a little bit too much too early. But after that, I mean, oh my god. After that, definitely doing some work. I feel like he got quite lucky with a few of those tanks like that T-29 just not knowing how to aim, or the 150 just missing. But nonetheless, man, one hell of a game. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than open to Batum with guys sometimes. I play on the West Coast, so that's just something to keep in mind in terms of pings and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I'll look at setting up some time to do that so that Honey Badger can carry me all day. So he's getting in the bushes here just so in case the Nashorn somehow comes through the middle. But I think he's enemy being completely north. He won't. Yeah, no, I mean, it was a good game. I think, in terms of things to work on, just when you're low tier, or low tier in a game like that, you just don't want to be the first one seen in a position where you get hit. You know what I mean? It's because you don't have a lot of hit points. I mean, you can get eliminated real quick, which almost happened. But yeah, I appreciate the replay, man. Good carry. And the last one we got is from Tank in his Churchill I on steps. So just get this one cooking. Yeah, I woke up this morning, turned around, and I just saw him just sitting like an inch away from my face, just staring at me. He was getting deep into the soul right there. Then he attacked my arm. So enough said. All right, steps. Cool map. Normally, your heavy tanks try and push down this 1-2 from the north, whereas your medium and lighter stuff usually wrap around the top here. Middle's a bit of a shitstorm, and if you go through it, you're probably going to die. Sometimes off the start, lights from both sides, both north-south, like to push to this rock right here. I'm not too sure why. I feel like you're isolated and you can't really move a lot when you get there, but they go there. Um, when I'm in a heavy tank, even though I say typically they go 1-2, I actually like to go, if I'm fast enough, on this side here and go around the low side and just push it aggressively, because basically you can kind of clear out all the way back up to here and then get side shots and whatever's in here, and then just keep pushing up to here. And being a heavy tank, you can actually carry the fight a little bit and help your mediums and stuff move up. So I like to go there. In a Churchill 1, might be too slow to do it, so you may want to stick to this side. But the thing is, with artillery, you don't want to hang back in here with it. You either want to push all the way up to this rock right here and then kind of work in, or you want to stay back here, artillery safe. Your tank's fairly slow, so I actually, probably in my opinion, I would push out to probably here, and if it was clear, push up to the next mound right here, and then if it was clear, go around this way. So, in terms of tanks, you guys are a bit heavier at the top and a bit more TDs. I mean, being top tier, you basically can have a field day. You're the only thing that will hurt you in this match, aside from TVDs that have you broadside, is the artillery. So as long as you don't get artillery, I mean, you can have a heck of a game. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm just going to say off the start is look at where your team's going. Half your team's going this line, half your team's sticking here, and then there's only 2 of you going this way. If I were you, I would turn around. I wouldn't try and go into this. Because for one, you're either going to get, you know, overwhelmed by lights, or you're gonna have to stay back and not do a whole lot. So, I mean, you may not see a lot, but you're by yourselves, so it's a big risk going here by yourselves. So it looks like the other side of your map's pushing pretty hard. Now, so I don't know entirely what you guys are doing, but um, if you so if you're going this way, you don't really want to stop in this position, because for one, if anything pops around this corner and lights you, yeah, you may get a shot on them, but now you're artillery prone and they know exactly where you are. Um, if you're going this way, you really want to push up to this rock here. You really want to take that, because that eliminates them from being able to hit you from artillery. It allows you to proxy spot whatever's in here, so you get information on what on their team is here. And if you don't see anything, then you can aggressively push this. Right now, you're being fairly passive, and you want to get that information to your team so that they know whether or not they can push up or not. So we'll kind of just see. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Alright, so you ask him to follow you. He does. You start moving up. You're going to the rock. I mean, yeah, you are top tier, so you can do a fair bit of stuff. So you see the KV-1. You get up to the rock. Now, what's almost better for you is to go around this way of the rock, because on this side of the rock, you can get hit by artillery, but if you go around this way, you can manage that a lot more effective, and you can also create a different angle on this guy. Right now, you guys are down the same firing lane on this KV-1, and you're not making it hard for him at all. You're basically just going down the same one. He doesn't have to turn his turret. He doesn't have to worry about a different flank. So you would have been better suited going around this way, and you probably wouldn't have lost as much health as you did.
One of our tracks is damaged.
And you're also going pretty man mode into a guy, and you're giving this guy, if he comes around your side, you're giving the Stug your side.
Penetration. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
You get the kill on the Stug. Stug. There you go, Stug. So yeah, I think you could have managed that a lot better. You didn't need to lose as much health. You could have been able to go around that way, create a different angle on the KV-1, side scrape back here, eliminated the KV-1 without taking a lot of damage, and then worked on the Stug, and then came around here and worked on this guy. I mean, it still worked out. Don't get me wrong, you still killed him, but you're at 17 health. That was a real close one. The other interesting thing too to note is look what happened to your team over here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tanks that died. Pushing that. What clan was I in before? My very first clan was Roxy. My second one was C100, which was basically the same thing as Esprit de Corps. It's just, it was yeah, it's the same people as C100 as Esprit de Corps. So yeah, Roxy then C100 / Esprit de Corps. In this case, you're gonna want to leverage your other team's hit points to scout for you. You don't necessarily want to be the front, so you want to use your M8 to see stuff, or your northern guys to see stuff, so that you know what's in front of you. So, when we just look at the map right now, but what's there, you know that the Lee, the T-34, and the A-20 are up there. That means that of tanks that are a threat to you down here, the Chihei and Hetzer are possible ones down here. So you want to let this M8 go forward and scout for you so that you can cover him when he spots them if they're down there. Artillery also is generally along either in here, or on this backside here, unless they've moved up with their force. So looks like base is not going to hold too long or too much longer. So you're just blind firing at a hill up there. Your SU-85 just crushed those two, so that's good. Okay, so Chihei's in, so you know you can be fairly aggressive. I mean, you haven't stopped moving, so I guess it is what it is.
Permission to engage.
So you see him. Am I fixed on you? So the other thing too is, do you zoom into fire? Like, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so I heard you lock on with auto aim. Auto aim is good for close range when you're circling an opponent, or from when you're just running across a gap and you just want to fire a shot remotely close to them in the event that it hits them. In your current position, you need to actually zoom in by hitting shift and actually aim at the top of his tank and not use auto aim, because auto aim is going to go center mass on a tank, and because he's on the backside of the hill, all you're doing is hitting the hill. So right now you're not doing anything to him when you could actually be hitting him. So you need to be aiming here, as opposed to just auto aim.
Enemy is hit.
And he has the derp gun, so you might want to angle here a little bit more, because he still can go through the side of you, so you just want to angle slightly a bit more towards him.
We didn't
Oh,
even
you bounced him.
scratch them. We've lost the track.
Okay, so you get the kill. So, yeah, you really want to aim, and not use auto aim on that, just because you're going to be a lot more accurate, and you kept rocking back and forth really for no reason there. Like, when you knew that he had killed that last guy, you knew you had a bit of time to aim, so you should just stay stationary, go into sniper mode by hitting shift, and really take the time to aim at him, because you know you had the time to do it. Because you ended up taking, I think, 3 shots at the end there when you really needed one. And then at the start, when you hit the ground a bunch of times, it's because you weren't really aiming at all. So use the auto aim appropriately is really what kind of lesson there is. And like I said, down south here, early on, you didn't need to stay back there. If you're gonna push that way, push straight through to that G1 rock, and then use it and go around it so that you can, clear that grid which is down there a lot easier instead of because you gave away a lot of hit points for. I mean, it ended up working out, but it won't always work out like that. Yeah, take it's I mean, I don't know if maybe that's then you might have to tweak your graphic settings in and tone down some of the like are your video settings really if they're still high and you don't have a machine that has like the performance to handle it, um you might want to tone it down a bit on a lot of the settings so that you're able to still play and still go into sniper mode because especially at higher tiers you're gonna want to aim. You need to be able to hit weak points and if you're just auto aiming every time it's gonna go center mass and if anyone's hull down you're just always gonna hit dirt. Um, okay, well that's the last of the replays for now. Thanks everyone who tuned in, all the new follows. Um, I am going to just stop the stream so that I can. I'll post everything up on YouTube. I'll be streaming in a bit, playing the game. But I just need to do a few things before that. So, in the effort of just getting the stuff up on YouTube, I'm gonna stop the stream now. But I'll be back later and hopefully can play some games. Um, and we're almost at the 50 followers. So once we hit that, we'll do somewhat of a draw and then see what we can give. So yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in and see you in a bit.